Welcome to Okon Bros podcast.
Oh my gosh, we finally got her on.
We had the
one and only.
We had to get her schedule.
I don't even. She doesn't even an introduction. She doesn't even need an intro.
This is the great Marilyn Hornik.
This is Auntie.
Auntie Marilyn.
Auntie Marilyn.
We don't do Auntie. We do Auntie.
She's Auntie.
She's
Marilyn.
Auntie Marilyn from the Bronx.
Marilyn, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Marilyn's like a little nervous for someone who's like can like stand in front of a crowd of 8,000 people and say, "This is how it works and this is what we're gonna do." She's like nervous in front of sitting with you and me.
Not at all.
All right, good. Don't be nervous, Marilyn. It's just
I'm not.
It's your boys.
Of course.
First of all, you are prohibited from mentioning that you fed me Twinkies when I was a baby on this podcast.
You just did.
I just mentioned it.
And I fed Eric Hostess cupcakes.
Marilyn was our. Stop looking yourself in the TV. Look at us. Talk to us. This is the camera. This is your camera. This is all of
that camera's looking at you.
This is the BLS universe over here. What?
Yeah. Listen. Let's get right into it. So, Marilyn,
right.
Let's talk about your history. Where were you born? Because that's a huge part of your identity. And how did you get to BLS?
Okay.
Talk to Eric and me. Talk to us. Talk to us. Normal.
I was born at Beth Israel Hospital in Manhattan. I grew up in the Bronx.
Okay.
I lived there for over 30 years until I met your uncle.
Oh my God. Who? Stewie Hornik, right?
Stewie Hornik.
Stuart.
That's
Big
our
shout
uncle.
out to Stewie. Speak into here. Don't move your head too much.
Okay.
It sounds like
They are since divorced.
Right.
Marilyn's going to give the history.
The joke goes.
We lived together. We were married. So for a total of 16 years. The first time I met both of you, Eric was 2.
Oh my
He had come
God.
back from Florida. He had an earache.
You were at
Sore
Bobby's
throat.
funeral, right? You didn't come to Bobby?
I didn't know Bobby then.
Oh, okay. Bobby's our great-grandmother.
Great-grandmother.
Bobby died a year before I met Stuart.
Okay.
And you, my dear, was 6 years old, 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this. At that time, I worked in the city. I worked in the Empire State Building. And I'll never forget that day. I was wearing a purple jumpsuit, and your uncle came and picked me up in the city. He was in the city, and he brought me to meet your mom and dad and both of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
And
did you know that you were going to marry Stuart? Did you know when you met him you were going to marry him?
No.
No.
And then the funny thing is when I met your dad, I recognized him from
It's amazing.
having a car and picking up
Did you really?
somebody at the Empire State
Right, because
Building.
our dad started hustling the Empire State Building. That's how he got his first start. That's how he got his first clients.
Right.
And Marilyn recognized him.
And I knew his first client. Actually, I knew his first client.
Did you really?
I could say his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say his name.
It was Howland Apparel.
Wow.
He was a shirt guy. My office was on the 3rd floor, and then on the 10th floor, and his office was on the, I want to say, 6th floor. And I can picture Hal. His name was Hal also. I can picture him today as I worked there for 19 years.
So you were married with Stuart and you were still working in the city?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And then what happened? Then you got pregnant with Matthew or not yet?
What happened was I became pregnant with Matthew.
Big shout out to Matthew Hornik.
And
We're trying to get him on here, but he's so busy.
So busy. Busy traveling.
And what happened was I had just quit the job that I had for 19 years. And it was the summertime. Matthew was 2. I came to your house to put him in the pool. And it was a Friday.
That was Heather Lane?
Yes.
Yeah.
My favorite house.
Yeah.
And it was a Friday, and that was the day your mother had to get all the invoices out. And at that time, and we're talking about 29 years ago,
We still were running the billing out of the house.
We were running the billing out of the house, and we were handwriting the credit card receipts. So every invoice had to have a handwritten Amex or Visa. So she said, "Give me the baby. You go downstairs. I know you know what to do."
I remember
And
that.
that was
day.
it.
Okay.
Right?
And that was it. And then I believe that you guys were on an LA trip, and your mother and father called me when they were in LA and said, listen, we have a proposition for you. We're going to buy a building. We need an office manager.
Wow.
And we'd like you to come and work for us. We know that you have, experience, and I think it'll be good. And at that time, the office was still in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget this. It was September, because that's my anniversary month. I think it was September 19. If Matthew was born in
Talking to the
89,
mic, Marilyn.
It was September
Just like that.
1992.
Right.
Well, 92. And that's what I did.
Did you know that you wanted to be a part of a family business when you were in the city? Like, did you ever think you would transition to BLS? Did you even know that when you came in to start doing the credit card receipts that you'd be like, this is going to become my career?
That was a fluke. That was just on a hunch. I was there.
It's amazing.
So what did you first start doing when you started working at BLS? And then how did you get to where you are now?
Okay. When I first started working at BLS, the first thing that I learned was I had to organize the billing office. Okay, there was folders full of invoices that were declined credit cards for different companies.
Just to FYI, everybody, she's still doing that today. 29 years later, the decline list is too high.
But we didn't have a list then. We had folders with invoices, and I had to go to the appropriate parties. I had to learn who the appropriate people were to get the credit cards, the correct credit cards. And when I looked at these folders, these invoices were 90 days old. They were old. And that's how I started. Then
did you merge into the sales? Was it sales?
Hold on.
Account management?
Before that, we had commissions. We used to sit on the floor, Arlene and I, at that time. Arlene
Veretos.
Big shout out to Arlene and Nick too.
She and I sat on the floor, and we just had to go through commissions and try and straighten that out. And that took forever. Well, once we got that straightened, and eventually, once I set up a system for the declined credit cards, at that point, I had talked to the various people in the companies by calling.
Our clients. Yeah.
And they were familiar with me. So, your mother, Phyllis, she came to me one day and said, we're going to LA and I'm taking you with me.
What year was this?
I want to say 1993.
Yeah.
There was an American Express forum, and all the VIP travel managers in our industry would be present.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that became Marilyn's love affair with.
I think Marilyn spent more time in LA than she's been.
I mean, Marilyn, how many times have you been to LA this year alone?
Just 2019.
I can't even imagine. I think 9 times, 8 times.
Right.
It's amazing.
Like once a month.
Yeah.
At least.
What? So we just had this massive party. I want to just mention something about Marilyn. Hold on. No. Hold on one second. Before we jump to that, we just had this massive party in LA, and Mom, we had 200 plus people there. Mom introduced all of us.
It was 300 plus.
Was it really? It was 300 plus people.
Yeah.
We had 300 plus people at this party. It was all BLS clients, new and old, and Mom introduced everyone at BLS, and everyone got.
I made a speech. You made. I made a speech.
I raffled off Marilyn, and I raffled for $1, and Zach was the only one that came up with $1, and you were his for the night. But there were 2 major standing ovations. One was for Angie.
It wasn't for us.
It wasn't for us. I mean, we are not. We're the face of the company, but there's a face of this company.
Well, yeah, because they work with them day in and day out.
Right, but Angie got a standing ovation.
Angie Artizone.
And I got to tell you, it was like a roar. It was like the Stones were going on when in Giant Stadium when Marilyn got up there. People love you. They really do.
Our clients adore Marilyn.
And I want to know
why.
What's your special sauce? What's the special ingredient? You don't buy them Twinkies like you bought me.
No, but I bring them Art's Deli.
So
and it's very
so the secret to sales is food.
Well, also it's personality.
100%. That's exactly
And
right. Yes.
The key to success is if you're a people person, and I am a people person.
Have you always been?
Yes. I can walk into a room, and I say this honestly, not knowing anyone, and come out knowing everybody.
And where they're from.
And
what restaurants they like. Right.
Where they're, there's always a connection.
You're not shy.
No. And I have to tell you this at the beginning, because your mother threw me on a plane for one day. We took a red eye. We were there exactly one day, and she introduced me to everybody. We came home, and then 2 weeks later, she said, okay.
You going back?
You're going back alone. I was terrified. I was really terrified, but I have to tell you, our clients, they mentored me.
And they know who they are.
Yeah.
And they know who they are. And I believe they made me what I represent at BLS today.
What I always respected about you was that you never sold the company. You never said, we have the best drivers, we have the best cars, we have insurance. It was never about that. You always spoke about everything that wasn't about BLS. And I learned that from you. I will never forget.
But you know what's amazing? Marilyn will come in and you'll think that, she's talking about meatballs and she's going to talk about CSI. But then all of a sudden someone's going to ask a business question and then she zeroes in on it. You're like, where did that come from?
Yes. Yes. She's very knowledgeable.
That's the key to sales and business is that you have to be a people person.
Right.
But you also have to know your shit.
Right.
Well, you have to know your product because if you don't know your product, then you sound like you're not confident in what you're selling.
Right.
I can tell you, because I'm a people person, when I go to these shows, I'm not afraid to just go up to somebody and say, hi, how are you?
Right. Nice
to meet you. I've been known, and the people that travel with me, they claim I could talk to anybody. I talk to people on the airplane. I have found people sitting on the airplane,
right,
sitting at the gate. It doesn't matter.
Matthew is Marilyn's clone with the personality.
Yeah.
Your son.
You know what? I don't think about. You see,
yeah, this is just who she is.
Right, I know. Yeah. But neither is Matthew. It comes so natural to him. I can't wait to have him on the podcast because you'll see that Matthew knows everyone. Marilyn's like a mayor, right? We used to call Marilyn the mayor.
Right.
She knows everyone in the industry. Do you know some of this company? Oh yeah, I know them. And their favorite restaurants up in is down in Playa Vista. It's a great Italian restaurant.
But also, I think you can't discount the sincerity of what has to happen. That like not only you have to know how to kibitz, you have to know how to bullshit, you have to know your product, but you have to be sincere in who you're talking to, and it can't be fake. Because people are going to catch on to that right away.
Right. And I tell them,
you're not salesy at all.
Because that's baloney. To be honest, I tell them,
come close.
What you see is what you get. There's no hidden agendas.
Right.
I don't like egg on my face, so I'm not going to promise you a whole bunch of stuff and not deliver.
Well, right. Not only is it BLS's reputation, it's your reputation also.
Right.
And that all that means something.
You know what? Right. Somebody in a different industry than us has come up to me and said, because we share the same clients, and they said, I asked the people that you deal with why they love you so much. Why? Right. What makes you different than anybody else that's out there in our competitors? And they said, because I always have their back. I always 100%. Know what to do. We don't do the blame game. Life's
too short for that.
we're in this business to excel.
Well, what did one of the agents say to you, that we're one of the most agent-friendly companies?
Yes, and that's what that's my
You
selling.
instilled that in this company, though.
Yes.
It was you and Kevin that instilled that when an agent...
that was your mother.
Was it really?
Your mother instilled that in me.
You executed it
right.
perfectly.
Right.
That when an agent books something incorrectly, and it happens every day, on the hour, it happens all the time, we're not going to hold them to it.
No.
We'll take the fall, we'll take the blame for it, but you really, you let the agents know that you have their back.
Right.
And I think that's a really secret recipe for success.
Well, the secret for success is partnership.
Right.
When you take on a client, you want to be their partners.
Right.
A new client doesn't know you like somebody that you've dealt with
for 20 years.
For 20 years.
Right.
They have to have, there's a transition part. And I think that the confidence level is when something does go wrong and they see how fast we clean it up and what extent we'll do to make things right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you, the only way not to have problems in business is not having a business.
Right. Every business
more
has
money, more problems.
Yeah.
I tell my son all the time, there's days I call him and he says, oh, he's stressed and he has.
This is Robbie or Matthew?
Matthew. And I said to him, that's business. You know what?
Yep.
What we do is fun, but it's stressful. There's many nights that I go home and I don't sleep because I'm aggravated or something is not the way I like it. But that's business. The next day you come in, you clean it up, and we go on to
Nothing ever sticks, though. Like when there's an issue at noon, you go, your job is to go and have your team clean it up,
Put out the fire.
Put out the fire before the entire house burns down. And then what you do is, by 2:00, the apology letter's sent out, this, that, and the other thing. You spoke to the agent. What can we do? Comp a car, the whole 9 yards, because shit happens. But by 3:00, it's back to normal.
Listen, last night, it was 8:30 at night. I called somebody that I had to call to make things right. You know what? My theory is I don't like apology letters because they're stored in a Word document.
You're just copying, pasting
and you
names.
Copy and paste it.
Yep.
I believe in the personal touch. I sell the personal touch, a big company that still gives you the mom and pop feeling. That's what clients want. Right. They want to feel.
They want the reach of they want reach for capacity for service.
Right.
But then they want behind the scenes that there's a family behind the scenes.
There is. And that I think is the most important thing. Somebody in this industry taught me a long time ago, a phone call is more personal. It shows that you really care than a uniform letter. Right.
But in this day and age, don't you feel that that's the cell phone is impersonal, that a text message or an email is impersonal? But my question is, the younger generation, do they
appreciate it?
They do appreciate it. They're as receptive as someone who's been in the game for 20 years?
They feel that you took the time to make that call.
Right.
It's not like you're just pushing it to the side. When you send a text, listen, when you call somebody, it leaves an impression. Mm-hmm. Now, another thing, we get calls, and of course, there's always something could be wrong, or you get an irate client, and the staff, they send those calls to me.
Right.
So if somebody is irate, how come when I get them on the phone and I speak with them, they're not so irate anymore? Well, it's confidence. Why? Because I asked Kevin this the other day. I said, Kevin, we get the call, the client is irate. How come when I get on the phone and I start talking to them, they're not irate anymore? They're fine. He said, because when you speak to them, you speak with a sense of confidence and you're sure about it. And of course, after doing this 29 years, if I'm not sure about it, I'm not confident, then I'm in the wrong job. But it's a difference. They feel secure that they know that it's going to get done.
You have put on more mileage. You've put on as much mileage as I would say an executive going back and forth from New York to LA. You see the expansion, what we're doing. We just opened in Washington, D.C. yesterday. We just got approved for Albuquerque, New Mexico. We have a lot of other expansion stuff. We did Atlanta this year a few times. We did Chicago a few times this year. Do you like going to new cities and taking on new challenges? Like, I know your comfort zone is LA, right? You land in LA, you're like a queen there.
I am. And I don't know why, because I
got to tell you a real quick story.
I'm just a girl from Long Island coming to do some business.
I went with Sharon and the kids. We had the kids had a week off. Kayla was a baby, and
I know what he's gonna say.
And we walked. And so there was Marilyn had some meetings. She was in LA, so I said to Sharon, take the kids, go to the Bronx, go to Universal or something. So I went with Marilyn. I'm like, I'm going to go. And my dad was still alive, and I didn't really make roots in LA as much. I would go much less.
Yeah, that was during the time when we weren't traveling all that much because our dad was ill.
Right, and I went a couple times over a certain year time frame. And I walked in. It was Carl, Marilyn, me. I think the LA team was there, Angie, Travis. And we walked in, and it was this huge travel office, and they're still with us today. They've been with us for 25 plus years. And they went, Carl, Marilyn. And they're like, who's this? And Marilyn's like, this is our boss, Michael. And I don't want to be introduced as the boss. Right? I was like, oh, hi, I'm Michael. These people couldn't give a shit I was in the room because Marilyn was there.
Well, you didn't deal with them like
I didn't deal with them
the way that Marilyn did.
They didn't look at me. They didn't want to talk. They didn't care who I was. And I wasn't trying to be important at all. I was just there to sit and talk and, tell them about the new technology and be Mr. Sales Boy and everything. Marilyn overshadowed me. I felt like a little ant, and Marilyn was like this,
Well, listen, you have to watch and learn.
Everything I have today, sales-wise, two people, Mom and Marilyn.
100%.
Mom.
That's what
because when I first started going out and selling, Marilyn knows I don't like it doesn't come natural to me.
You took after Dad with the sales part.
Yeah, it doesn't come natural, but I realized that I had to do it.
But you do a good job.
Well, it didn't start out that way. I start out, and when I first started, I was out, and I was just like, what do I say? And then all of a sudden, Marilyn had this amazing shtick, and she was talking about the Bronx and meatballs and
Carmine
and reconciliation and credit cards. And then Michael was talking about books, and he was, and my mom was talking about being a grandma and being, growing up in the business. And also I'm like, you know what? Oh, I got to come up with a shtick. I have to have a story. And then I'm like, okay, here's my story.
Right.
And then all of a sudden people start responding, and you become an interesting person.
Right.
And that's the key to sales. You have to have an arsenal of things to say.
Absolutely. And I learned something vital from Marilyn. Never badmouth the competition.
Never.
No.
Ever.
I walk in to a place, Marilyn says, do not mention who they're using now. Don't talk about it. Talk about you, your company, and your story as a person. And you know what? It works. It's like gold. When you go in and go, we could do better than the current vendor. We can do better. Marilyn says, don't ever, ever, ever talk like that.
Because you never know what's going to come back and bite you.
You could say in the ass, on the ass.
Marilyn never curses. I don't know if you can tell that from Marilyn's personality. She's
Marilyn is queen curse.
She's a potty mouth.
Not all the time.
We should actually start collecting money every single time that you curse in the office. Man, we'd be rich at the end of that.
Don't make it. I don't curse that often.
Who the?
What I wanted to say was
talking to the microphone.
When I
that's the 18th time today talking to the microphone. Crystal's gonna love this. Yes.
When I do sales,
talking to the microphone now.
Edit it.
There's no editing here now. We're going from point A to point B, and there's no stopping in between.
Anyway, when I did start, when your mother threw me to the wolves, and I was mentored, I can never do anything scripted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I have to do it from the heart.
Yep.
And that's how I always did it. I always presented myself and the team and the story of BLS without writing it or reading it. It just came naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do.
You and Stuart got divorced, and we see you more now than we see Stuart. Nothing wrong with Stuart, but we see you every single day. We work with you every day. We talk to you more.
Can you believe that? I'm divorced 19 years.
Can't believe that.
We kept Marilyn as a divorce.
Yes, that was the joke. Was there animosity, or what is your relationship with Stuart like today? We're marveled by how close you guys are.
It's a Brady Bunch type situation.
Well, we have our good days, and we, basically, Stuart has been an amazing
father.
Yeah. Father. My kids don't want for anything, and he's always there. If I needed him, he'd help me.
100%.
Jane as well.
Yeah, big shout out to Jane.
And I think that Jane is the catalyst. Mm-hmm. She makes it good for everybody.
But you're not like an outcast. You're included in what they do, which is so remarkable.
The way it should be.
The way it should be, that even when people separate.
History. It's history. It's having 3 boys growing up. I mean, Max and Matthew were a year and a half apart.
Mm-hmm. And Max is, just for the record, Max is Jane's son.
Right.
That Stuart
but
is
he's
with
like
now.
my third son.
Right.
Well,
we always felt that you were a mother to us. You always, it was BJ's and Adventureland Friday nights with Stu, Marilyn, and Matthew.
Yeah. Right.
It was
Adventureland and the movies.
Mm-hmm. The first house we ever slept over was Marilyn's house.
Yes.
First and only.
And I kept the nightlight on for one of you.
That was Eric.
I don't want to mention it.
I'm still scared of the dark.
That was like 3 years ago.
But BLS is a way of life for me.
100%.
Okay.
I think your AOL address was like BLS MH 3015, right? Yeah, that was your old extension.
Years ago. What did I know? So I said, all right, let's put BLS 3015 at AOL.com. But like I said, the reputation that we have, and you have, you know what? I could actually move to LA and have a million friends. You know that.
Of course.
I would never move to LA.
Why not?
Because
New York's your home.
New York is my home. To be honest, if I arrive on Sunday, by Wednesday night, I'm itching to come back home.
See, I'm the complete opposite. I love LA. I love the city of LA. I love the people there. I really do. Since I was a young kid, though, I was always infatuated with
the
Los
food.
Angeles.
I don't love the food. If you go to a steakhouse, then it's one thing.
See, this is how This is what the conversation always ends up with. So
I have a funny story. We did a show recently.
Yeah.
Last week in the city, and you know what? For some reason, I don't have the connection as much
in New York
as I have in LA.
Right.
And I sit and I think, why? Is it because I don't pound the pavement? It could be. Is it because it's just a different scenario?
Mm-hmm.
So this young woman came up to our table and I introduced myself. And she mentioned that she lived in Westchester. Okay. Now, being from the Bronx, that's my territory.
Right.
And she said, well, I lived in Tuckahoe. I said, well, you know what? The best Italian restaurant is on Central Avenue and Tuckahoe. And she was like, I can't believe. Of course. And we talked about the restaurant. We talked about the owner. We talked about the father. So
funny.
Then your friend Robin.
Okay.
Came over and they were together. And I had spoken to Robin on the phone, but never met her. And I told her who I was. And she said, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. She turned to her friend and she said, do you know who this person is? And she said, yeah, don't worry. We got it down pat. She gave me this. We talked about all of Yonkers, all of Westchester, all the restaurants. It was great.
Really?
Yeah. So you see, going back to what Eric said.
Talking to the microphone.
It's not what
28th time.
It's not what you sell. It's everything about.
It's the personality. And that's
right.
That's what I said in one of the most recent podcasts, that a company personality is everything. That if the company has no personality, or if they have a bad personality, you know,
culture, all that stuff,
toxic. We don't.
We're warm. You see,
there's a reason why we call it the BLS family.
Okay. You know, any time that I've ever been to your house, you would just offer me, like, what can I make you? Like, you know, you make the best meatballs, you make the best chicken cutlets, the best sausage and peppers on planet Earth. You're an amazing cook, but like you're not doing it like, no, you know, they're here, I might as well cook something. Like, you taught Sharon and me how to welcome people to our home and to say, "Oh, you here? What do you want? Can I make you some coffee?" You know,
that spills over into every aspect of your life.
And Marilyn's warmth.
It's catering to your company, catering to your friends, catering to your family members. If I invite people to my house, I want to have things that they like, whether I like it or not.
On Mahjong night,
I'm gonna serve.
Marilyn's a massive Queen Mahjong. How
much do you win a night at Mahjong?
It depends. Last week I lost $24.
Oh my God!
But I've won in a total week because I do play it several times, and the pie per person we start off with $25 each.
You taught our wives how to play Mahjong.
Okay, so I've won $80 in a week.
Oh yeah,
I've won $155 this year. I've won so far $155. I came in first in a tournament.
In the words of my late father, don't quit your day job.
Listen, it's very good for the mind.
Yes,
and
it's an activity. It's fun.
My kids are out of the house, and I get home at 4:00. And why do I have to look at the four walls? I go out, and we don't even play in each other's houses. We have a hotel that's in Syosset. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how. They let us play in the breakfast area.
Right.
They bake us cookies. I'm telling you. The managers, they call me. The bartender, they know me by my name.
Right.
They'll come up and say, they make cookies every day. And they'll come up after they make them. Well, we'll say, can you put a fresh pot of coffee on? They do it for free. I don't know. You know
what? It's because you
bring the mentality over there, and that just comes full circle. That you have to be gracious and nice to everybody.
That's what this entire podcast is about.
And don't forget, what I do is I bring them donuts, the managers, the desk.
Exactly.
I'll order them. We'll chip in and order them a pizza or something.
So why are you saying you don't know why they're doing it? Now, of course you know why they're doing it, because
you take care of them.
Because you take care of them, because
and also
the way you have to do it.
It's good to see that there's people around in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And now
let me tell you something. If you went in there and you were Queen Bee, if you were a big bee there and you weren't a nice person, it wouldn't last very long. They'd say, take your game and go elsewhere.
True.
Marilyn's not like that. Marilyn is the warmth that she exudes. Marilyn. Well, why are you called Marilyn here?
That's because of me.
That was Eric. Yeah. Couldn't pronounce it.
I think I called you Marilyn until I was like...
We still call her Marilyn.
Years old, but unconsciously called her Marilyn until I was like 25
Kevin
years old.
Me Mal.
Speaking to the microphone. 36th time. We spoke about Matthew. We spoke about Max.
I think this covers it all. I
just want to talk about... Well, yeah, you can't leave out Robbie.
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about Robbie. Robbie lived the dream.
Robbie lived the dream.
Is Marilyn's baby Huey, but he's
Robbie is Stuart and Marilyn's baby. Yes. And can you tell us something about Robbie? He's great. All right, that was great. Great podcast. Thank you for
Robbie. See, Matthew is very much like me, and Robbie is very much like his dad, Stuart.
Yeah.
But when you put the three of them together, even though people say that Matthew looks more like me now,
your boys look nothing like you.
If you put the three of them together, it's all one face.
Yep.
Yeah.
However, Robbie has his father's personality.
And we'll just leave it at that.
Nothing bothers him. Nothing. And you know what? He'll never have an ulcer. He'll never get anxiety.
But I want to say, not many people get to live their dream. And Robbie did something amazing where he got the internship at Walt Disney World. And his face, when we would go visit him and we would talk to him, he was beaming.
Yes.
The entire time that he was there.
Yeah.
but you can't survive on that salary. So, now he's home. He looks good. Listen,
that's
he
why
lost
Robbie's
weight.
home.
Yeah. He's not eating churros and Mickey bars every night.
He looks great, and now he's working in the family business there with his brother and his father. And
Eric and I saw Robbie more times in Florida than we did here. We were going down there for every vacation because our kids are obsessed with Disney. So we would go down and we would have breakfast, lunch, or more like a lunch or a dinner with Robbie, and we'd sit and we'd talk to him, and we were so happy to see him happy. That he really, to say what Eric said, he was living his dream.
It's amazing how this kid went to Orlando all by himself.
Yeah.
And the way
didn't know anyone there?
Right. He met friends. He met.
For life now, right?
Yes. In fact, he's going in December to Las Vegas with 6 of the roommates that he had, all the guys.
That's awesome.
That he had the first semester.
We're going back to Disney.
We're going to Disney.
But I'm amazed and I'm so proud of him because you know what? I don't think I could have gone to a new state.
But the point,
and he learned how to get.
Marilyn, that's where you're wrong. You say where Robbie has Stuart's personality. Maybe that is the case, and Stuart and Robbie are like
of him.
Always cool, calm, and collected from what we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're always calculating, and they always understand. They don't freak out over a situation where Matthew and me and you. Well, Matthew and I are clearly cousins, and Eric and Robbie are clearly cousins. That you guys are always cool, calm, and collected. Me and Matthew are like, blah, 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 we'll start freaking out.
It's called obsessing.
Robbie going to a new place and being social and meeting people. I still think that's a part of you because you are social, and you can't say, well, he doesn't have the personality to do that. He clearly does. And we're all really proud of him to do that. I'm really proud of him that he came back and he's making a name for himself at Stuart and Jane's company, at Matthew's company. But just overall, really just an amazing, all of our cousins,
Yeah, we're so proud of everyone.
You did great.
Yeah.
You really did great as a mom, as an aunt. You're a really big inspiration to Eric and me.
Big influence.
Big influence. And don't start crying because Marilyn cries over.
No, please.
Remember when Victor went on vacation and Marilyn cried? Marilyn gets verklempt over everything.
Listen, we gotta end this thing.
Okay.
Marilyn,
do you have any last words?
Closing remarks?
Closing remarks to clients? We do a really good job. No, we don't want to sell it.
Best cars,
best drivers. All right, before we go, top 3 restaurants in LA. Go. And you could plug any one of these because we know exactly probably what you're going to plug.
Number 1 is
Marino's.
Why? Marino's where?
On Melrose.
Why?
Mario treats me like a queen. He'll make anything.
The service that he gives is second to none.
Right. If you walk into that place, he doesn't even give you a menu. He goes, what do you want?
Yep.
Right. And if he has a client there that he knows,
he shares the love.
He shares it. He drags me over. He introduces me.
It's like what Goodfellas was.
Yeah.
And you know what?
We walked through the kitchen.
We
walked. They had muscles.
Yeah, right.
Like we came into the main place.
Lorraine is the one that introduced me to him.
Right.
You know that.
Right. Actually, no, I didn't know that when she was at that other place. Right.
Yeah.
So now Marino's number 1, and I agree with you. The food is outstanding at Marino's, and that's where
it's Melrose. It's in North Hollywood.
NoHo. Number 2.
Smokehouse
and
the
Burbank.
greatest.
Hollywood.
Old school Hollywood, right next to Warner Brothers.
Those red leather booths.
Yeah.
And if you go on a night where there's music.
Oh, we haven't been to that.
Yeah, one night we have to go.
That was a fun night when we didn't go to that one meeting and we met you. Man, Marilyn.
I think I had 2 bourbons that night.
I had 2 martinis.
Yeah.
It was great. You don't drink. You used to drink.
You say that every single time, and every single time I see you,
no,
I never drink, and then you just have one.
I order one, and it sits there.
Smokehouse, and what's that third restaurant in LA?
The third one that's reliable for me is Morton's.
Really?
Yeah, Morton's in Burbank.
Morton's in Burbank. Yeah, because the Morton's out here on Long Island's not great.
Right.
No, the Morton's Burbank for lunch. For lunch is always
right.
They're
it's
always
A+.
on point.
Yeah.
Morton's in Burbank is better in LA than here.
100%. Because the one over here, I've eaten here a few times, and the Northern Boulevard is known as Steakhouse Row, and Morton's is my least favorite of the steakhouses. You know, it's if the
Have
food
you
is never
eaten in
good.
Roslyn and Liami?
Lamani? I did. We went with Sharon and I went. We had a date night with a couple of friends.
This isn't a food review show.
We could turn into it.
It's good.
Lamani was great. Lamani was really good. It was packed though, and the tables are very close together.
And you know what?
But this is how Marilyn sells it.
This is what happens, and you can't keep trying to reel it in.
Yes.
And you know,
Have you eaten at Lamani?
Yeah, we went there for Mother's Day.
Yeah, Lamani's good. Rothman's, Eric's. Rothman's.
I know this is compelling conversation.
No, people probably stop watching by now, but who cares?
Rothman's brunch is the best.
Rothman's brunch is really good.
Chris and Tony's for that's
every
another place.
Chris and Tony's
Saturday.
It should be Chris, Tony, and Marilyn's.
Every Saturday night, I don't know how we got onto Long Island restaurants, but every Saturday night we eat at Rothman's.
That's Eric and our go-to.
Shout out to Keith.
Yeah, but you have
best
to
waiter
go
on the planet.
You have to go to Rothman's for a brunch. You would not believe
it's a 2-month wait.
Yeah, no, we keep trying to make reservations, and then there was like, sorry, sold out. You have to make reservations far in advance.
I'll bet you Keith. I'll bet you Keith can get us in. I'll bet you if we say to Keith, we'll be here the next day.
Don't they have it? They have it every weekend.
Yeah, they're always sold out. I don't know.
Rothman's, the Rothman's restaurant, amazing. I also like Rare's my fit. Sharon, that's Sharon on my date night.
And you know what? I don't like
I'm with you.
I think it's one of the best Long Island restaurants. Blackstone's really good too.
I've never eaten in Blackstone.
You know what's been we've been going to a lot? Frank's.
You know what? Frank's.
We went to Frank's yesterday. We broke the fast at Frank's. I had bacon.
I like Frank's.
Top notch.
The one in Jericho is better than the one in Rockville Center because I've gone there with Alda.
Right.
And it wasn't.
Stephen had his graduation party, the one there, and I didn't like the food. Frank's in Jericho was pretty good, yeah.
But you know, they sold it. It's not the original people.
No, I think they still own it.
They kept everything the same if they did.
They did.
Nothing's changed.
They have
it's the same place since 1992.
Right.
They have.
Have you been to Oniro yet?
No.
Yeah, Sharon and I went to Oniro recently. It was pretty good.
Greek?
Yeah.
I like, it's Greek to me.
Yeah, I can't believe this turned into a Long Island. But this is Marilyn, though.
I know,
this is the essence of Marilyn.
Okay.
The Bryant, by the way. The Bryant, amazing.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Guys,
that was fun.
Okay.
That's Michael. That's Marilyn. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.